Hi everybody, welcome to Pauline and Ava's take on All the Bright Places. I'm Pauline.
I'm Ava.
And here is All the Bright Places, a book by Jennifer, I don't know how to say her last name. Niven. And we're talking specifically about the movie adaptation and how it differs and is better or worse than the book. It's worse. Okay. And in order to keep ourselves entertained, we have some fun little coloring pages
In honor of the main characters' names, Violet and Finch.
Brief synopsis.
There are these two teenagers, one named Finch. He's very suicidal. He thinks about death all the time. And he's kind of the freak of the school. He's an outcast. And then there's Violet, whose sister died 9 months prior to the book's start, and she's kind of going through the grieving process. But then the two meet and they fall in love, I guess, and have a relationship, and that's where the story goes.
If you haven't read or watched this story and you want to, then click away from here now because I'm going to tell you a big spoiler. Finch dies. It's really horrible and tragic, but he does die at the end in the way of all kind of depressing teenage stories these days.
Yes. I guess my immediate reaction to the movie was, wow, this is so bad. Why did I watch this? But also the book is way better, and I guess you just have to take our word for it.
Or you could watch it yourself and then be like, oh my god, they were right all along. I should have listened. Okay. I feel very passionately about this subject because they totally got the characters wrong. Because Finch is like so lame in the movie. I'm sorry, but in the book he's an outcast and he's like a freak or whatever, but he's like a cool freak, you know what I mean? Like he has reasons for why he does the stuff he does, and it's like, I don't know. He's interesting, he's different, he's way more like dynamic, and like his personality is actually like pretty cool in the book, and in the movie he's like, it's just so cringy. Violet's like super like rude in the movie. It's just kind of, it leaves a sad taste in my mouth.
But I think the biggest thing that was lost in the translation, the first scene of the book is Finch and Violet, they're on a bell tower of their school, and they're both there because they're thinking about jumping off. And in the movie, it's just Violet on top of a bridge where her sister died in a car accident. So I think by disregarding the bell tower scene, you're like completely getting rid of everything that Violet was about, because she was very self-conscious about what other people thought about her, and so when she was on the bell tower, everybody in the school could see her, and the fact that people saw her and they thought that she was up there because she was saving Finch, instead of it being something that happened just between the two of them at the bridge, I think it was a very bad take on what the movie should have been about, which it wasn't, because the bell tower scene kind of sets off the events of the rest of the book, and without the bell tower scene, it was kind of lost. So when you think about a YA book to film adaptation, you think of The Fault in Our Stars.
Yes.
You think of The Hunger Games. You think of Harry Potter. You think of
To All the Boys.
To All the Boys I Loved Before, which was on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. So the fact that this is also a Netflix original doesn't take away from the fact of its popularity or unpopularity.
So it could have done well.
It could have done well, just like the To All the Boys I Loved Before. So I think the acting was part of it, but also just probably the screenplay and how it was translated from book to movie. I don't think it lives up to the hype of YA book to film adaptations. I think it's a poor representation.
I think for me, the YA book to film adaptations that I really love, they do such a good job of like carrying over the essence of the main characters into the movie. So like it feels very much like they're the same person in the book that they are in the movie, but not so much in this case. So I think that's really where they screwed up. I feel very like conflicted about presentations of mental health in media in general, because on one hand, mental health awareness is really important, and I think it's really important to destigmatize it, and obviously that's huge. But then on the other hand, it tends to romanticize it, which is horrible.
If you think back to when this book was made, it was 2015, which is the era of like Tumblr and The Fault in Our Stars and like very depressing subjects portrayed in the media, and I don't know, it kind of gives a bad message to people.
You know, that made me think of something. Another thing that I thought was really problematic is it doesn't portray any like caring adults or like people who can help. Like the portrayal of like the counselor and everyone else, like they're just a bunch of adults who don't know what they're talking about, who don't take the kids seriously, and therefore aren't any help at all. And if they have these kinds of examples of how that fails, like, I don't know, I think that's it's a kind of dangerous message. Yeah. I thought it was really beautifully written.
Okay, yeah.
It was nice.
But there's something to say about that, because if the book is beautifully written and the book is talking about suicide, like especially Finch's character, he's like talking about suicide in this way that's like very poetic, and there's nothing poetic about suicide or depression, so I think it's a good story, but it's also like contradicts itself, I guess. And I guess it gives like this idea that life is short and you should be grateful for who you have in your life and who you can rely on, I guess.
It's true. That was a lovely conversation. Would you like to show your bird? Thank you for watching our video all the way to the end, even though I'm pretty sure, are you real? Are there actual people who are watching this to the end? I salute you. Have a wonderful day. Bye!